I don't know what city. Pomona? Westbound on the 210. All right. Well, yeah, it's reckless driving, high speeds involved. This has been going on since Victorville. We actually are in the Pomona area right now. I can tell you this vehicle pushing the 100-mile-an-hour mark just before we went live. This vehicle was actually off the 210 freeway, and it just ran a red light, hit a car, and then kept on going. Major front-end damage. Before all of that, let's just get to the beginning because we're just going to keep watching this vehicle moving extremely fast on the 210 westbound. We were in the Pomona area. We'll start calling off some major streets here quickly. You can see how fast we are moving. But I can tell you this vehicle had 4 people in it at one time. 2 people somewhere along the way had gotten out. The vehicle actually had stopped, and 2 people had gotten out. So now we have 2 other suspects inside the vehicle, a driver and somebody else, and this vehicle continues on. A helicopter overhead calling it out because the speeds were so high and so dangerous on the roads. We heard the CHP constantly saying, drove another car off the road, pushed another vehicle off the road, weaving in and out. We're seeing that right now. I can tell you we're getting very close to the 57 right now on the 210. Vehicle moving extremely fast out here this evening, and we know heavy front end damage to that vehicle. We haven't seen any smoke from the car yet, but when it collided with that car, I'm sure we have the tape, you can see the damage that basically the whole front end of that car came off. What type of car it is, we're hearing it is a Chrysler 300. Right now we're going to get some cities for you, but I can tell you westbound on the 210, 100 miles an hour, and we just passed the 605.
If you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News at 8, this is breaking news of a CHP pursuit in the city of Glendora right now along the 210 freeway. This driver wanted for speeding and weaving and reckless driving, speeding at very high rates of speed. 2 people got out of the car at one point. There were 4 people inside that car, and 2 people got out after some stop was made. But we understand that the driver has been driving recklessly, and also we understand that they've been pushing other cars out of the way. We understand they crashed into another car right there, as you see on the right side of your screen. A very dangerous situation for not only the public, but also the CHP pursuit. As
a result of that accident, this vehicle, which is a Chrysler 300, that sedan has heavy damage to the left front of that vehicle, only 1 headlight. And again, this is nighttime. They're driving excessive speeds. We know more than 100 miles per hour. This original want for this was reckless driving. We understand there was speeding and weaving involved. That's what attracted CHP to this vehicle, and then that pursuit began. This is now in Glendora, westbound the 210, and this is going to be a vehicle going at a high rate of speed, and even between cars, coming very close to cars. Very dangerous pursuit going on. Look how fast he's going and weaving in and out of traffic. Hopefully this doesn't end dangerously, but this is somebody who is driving very fast at night with a impaired front headlight. Can't even see from that headlight, you see. So let's go back up to Sky 9 with the very latest in Stu Mundell. Stu?
Well, we're actually in the Glendora area already. That car now hard on the brakes there. I'm trying to get some math out, doing some math here. Very difficult for me, by the way. And we're going to try to get some actual speeds for you. Right now, though, it's just not getting any GPS signal, so we can't really say exactly. But we're going about 75, 80 miles an hour. I think that's a little bit of a low estimate. You can see how quickly this car is passing all those other vehicles down there. You know, everybody in Los Angeles probably going about 70 on the freeway this evening. This car is zipping by these people like they are almost standing still. There's 2 people inside that car. 2 people were dropped off. The original want is just speed, so this makes this very difficult to comprehend for somebody like me watching this. If this whole thing just was for high speeds, you know, just pull over. Now you've got damage to the front end of that vehicle. Of course, you're endangering so many people's lives out there this evening. And of course, California Highway Patrol, they've got the helicopter above, and they are calling out these locations. Look at this guy. He is cutting off everybody, pushing himself more and more off to the right hand, and that might put him in the emergency lane. If somebody's stuck there at these high speeds, it could be devastating. Right now, though, we're continue moving on, and just in the short time we've been talking, I can look outside the window. I see the Miller plant off the 210. That means we're going to be already in the Azusa area. So this car is still moving along westbound on the 210. Started in Victorville. 4 people were in that car at one point. Was on many of the freeways. When 15 is kind of when we got wind of this whole thing. It was actually on the 15 making its way out of the Cone Pass. Somewhere along the line, got off the freeway, was on streets. Arrow was one of the streets that he was taking for a long time. Foothill, another one. You saw some other law enforcement there trying to catch up on an overpass. Anyways, this vehicle kept moving these type of speeds on surface streets. They backed off. It was too dangerous. Helicopter above. 2 people, passengers, got out of that vehicle as we understand it. One passenger, 1 driver still in there. At one point, no cars behind it, driving a little bit more normal, and was actually obeying some traffic lights, and then the helicopter's light was on it. Don't think that instigated it at all, but for some reason this guy just decided to punch it, and that's when that accident happened right there by the 210. Got back on the freeway westbound, and it has just been on. This guy it has his foot in it the whole time. Look at these speeds. I'm going to get a little bit wider. I've had actually some people text me saying they'd like to get a little bit wider shot, get a little bit more of what's going on. They don't like that tight shot. There you go. You can see the freeway. You can see California Highway Patrol just getting into the shot right now. Don't know what they're going to do to bring this thing to an end, though. These high speeds, very dangerous. At least now, the lights and sirens will start being able to warn some of the public, letting them know what's going on, maybe give them that moment that they need or that second they need to react, to get out of the way. This vehicle using all lanes this evening, high speeds, Chrysler 300, started in Victorville, speeds about 100 miles an hour on the 210 this evening. Now, I can tell you for sure we're passing the 605. He's staying on the 210. Looking up ahead, I can tell you traffic is about what you see here. Pretty sporadic. Wow. Jeff was talking about how this guy was weaving in and out earlier on. He's going to be doing a little bit more of that, and you just got to worry about the public out there. Every time he gets so close, and he just almost clips a bunch of these people. And look at the speeds. Just get a gander of that. These guys are probably moving about freeway speeds. This guy's passing them like 40, 50 miles plus, so he's got to be in the triple digits. California Highway Patrols, they got their hands full this evening trying to keep the public safe, and of course, they care about that suspect's well-being as well.
And Stu, you were talking about 4 people in the car at one point, and then 2 people jumped out. Were there ground units on the ground there chasing those guys, or were they not there?
Oh, I might be getting off the highway.
They were not. Yeah, he's just getting off the freeway right now. We'll get you some streets. I understand we might be in the Duarte area. If he does not, oh, he's just getting back on. It was one of those bypass ramps right there. We heard them. We heard law enforcement calling out to the units descriptions of the people that got out of the vehicle. I'm sure they're looking for them. I don't know if they've taken them into custody. I know it was in the Rancho Cucamonga area off of Arrow. I believe that's where we heard them saying that 2 passengers had gotten out of the vehicle. The car actually stopped for a little bit and then continued on. Take a look at this, though. This guy is all lanes, back and forth, weaving in and out, and it just keeps on moving. We know he's collided at least with 1 vehicle. And it just gets so tight right there, right up behind somebody. And that's the thing, you know, the person driving that SUV, if he would have panicked there for a second, tapped on those brakes, it is just such a dangerous situation.
This is nuts. I mean, you're talking about starting at Victorville. We went through Glendora, Azusa, now Duarte. We can't even hardly keep up with how many cities this driver has gone through. This is a driver at a high rate of speed, wanted for reckless driving. 4 people initially in the vehicle. That was at Victorville. And just to reiterate what Stu said, 2 people dropped off in the Rancho Cucamonga area. We understand 2 people in this vehicle. The driver going at excessive speeds, more than 100 miles per hour. You could see those cars there. As you know, the speed limit on these highways are going to be 65 miles an hour. You might want to say that people are going maybe 10, 15 miles over that speed limit, which they generally do. And then this vehicle here is going right past them like they're standing still.
And Jeff, you know, the speeds aren't the only dangerous situation in this case. I mean, this pursuit has been dangerous from the very beginning. As Stu was mentioning, they got off in the Rancho Cucamonga area and dropped off 2 people, but also they hit some surface streets along the 210 as well, and they crashed into someone, and then they kept on going on the 210 freeway, getting back on after exiting.
You know, when you go this fast, if there's anything in the road, if there's a car that's going slow, and they tap the brakes, they are going to lose control, and there's going to be a massive crash. And you just hope that if that happens, as they continue to weave through this traffic here, that it is a one-car accident and they don't plow into somebody else. We know they already hit somebody, which you mentioned. It doesn't look like there's any big injuries or anything like that as a result. There is damage to the front of this car. You can see that right headlight, the left headlight is gone as a result of the crash, but the right headlight is basically showing right into the ground, right in front, and is really impaired. You can't really see ahead, and of course it's nighttime. He's going 100 miles an hour. Yeah,
it's so dangerous. And you know, the suspect was driving through all kinds of different cities and also just driving so fast and crashing into other cars, and we have no idea at this point what they're really running away from. We know that they were speeding, and that's why CHP engaged this pursuit, but we don't know if they have other crimes that perhaps it's a stolen car. We don't know that at this point. We don't know if they're armed. So we don't know a lot of things, a lot of questions tonight. But we do know that those 2 people that got out of the car in surface streets, we know that they're running from something as well.
They're at large at this hour. Well, you know, it's interesting. You got to think that there's got to be a reason why they are doing this, because if it was speeding and then they took off like this, something nefarious is going on. I don't know if it's a stolen vehicle. Okay, let's go back up to Stu. You said it was a possibility that the driver lost a tire? Did I hear that? Go ahead, Stu.
We're not really sure. We're hearing that there is some smoke coming out of the vehicle. I can tell you, though, speeds I have confirmed now in about 100 miles an hour, but you're definitely seeing smoke coming out of the car. Now, that could have been from the accident. Maybe he has some damage to the radiator. Maybe he lost a tire. But at any rate, you can see this vehicle still with these high speeds, and now possibly with only 3 tires. This is very, very dangerous. We keep coming up on Sierra Madre is what we're hearing right now from CHP. Speeds continuing still just under 100 miles an hour. So we're East Pasadena, Sierra Madre right there. Of course, if this guy is losing a tire, this is going to become a much different type of situation. He's got to slow down. Starting to move around. The vehicle still, we're still looking back and forth, but you definitely can see some smoke coming out of there. If it's a tire or if it's the radiator, we're moving Sky9 around back and forth, much like this guy is, trying to see which tire is the problem. But this car continues to move so fast out here this evening. I'm looking outside the window. We had some discussion earlier, Sierra Madre, Arcadia. We are definitely now in Pasadena, definitely in Pasadena, and you can see this car still moving along. Hopefully, I'm just saying, hopefully, this is something mechanical that we're seeing. The reason why we're seeing all this smoke is possibly lost the radiator, maybe the oil cooler, and now hopefully that car is going to give up before an accident happens. It does appear all 4 tires are good, but you can definitely see something coming out from underneath the bottom of that vehicle. Chrysler 300, that's the car, I can tell you right now, well established in Pasadena. We're going to start seeing those overpasses here very shortly. And again, light traffic right now, very, very good for the public. This car is still moving, though, very fast. And, of course, California Highway Patrol in the air and on the ground. Whatever that smoke is, what if it's steam, oil, heat, it's continuing to come out of the back of that car. You can see all that smoke. And he has been trying to use an off-ramp. We've watched him a couple of times trying to get off. Now it seems like he picked one. They're very close. Might have swapped some paint right there. We'll get this off-ramp here in a second. But he's coming up here to the top. There's going to be traffic, and it's kind of desperate moves. It's going to, whoa,
wow.
Whoa.
Oh, this may be the end of it right here.
There. California Highway Patrol right behind him. And you can see the difference in the driving right there. This guy all over the place, California Highway Patrol. That car didn't even skid out. But you can still see the smoke. Northbound now off the 210. We'll get this street here in a second. But it's Moreno. We're northbound on Moreno. Residential. Trees. Here comes the pit. If they can pull it off.
He slowed down. He slowed down.
It looks like he's almost coming to a stop, actually.
Well, this is the smartest thing this guy has done tonight.
Yep,
okay.
Passengers
that's
Am I seeing a door open on the passenger side?
There it is. It's coming to an end. No, the doors aren't open. Hands are definitely out. You can see hands out all around there.
Somebody in the back seat.
Almost seems to be female passenger. A passenger and driver. We'll find out here shortly. Tossed the cell phone out. That car definitely hurting this evening. Thank goodness no people were hurt. You can see California Highway Patrol, though. They have their guns out. They are not playing around out here this evening. This is amazing that this did not end in a different way. Right now, a lot of dramatics going on, but you know that California Highway Patrol, they just want this. They want these suspects to be placed into custody.
You can see the driver kind of shaking his or her hands. I can't tell whether it's a male or female, but shaking their hands as the CHP is obviously, you know, shouting orders at them to get out of the car and kind of hanging out the car, not opening the door, but hanging out the window there. That was interesting.
Oh, they're probably scared. They should be after what they've done tonight. I mean, this is a 100-mile-per-hour plus chase. This driver hit another car at one point in time. If we could bring that inset box to show that accident, but this looks like this is going to be end of this CHP pursuit. This started in Victorville. We understand 4 people inside of this Chrysler 300, damage to the front end, westbound 210 at one point in time. This is the inset where he hit that vehicle and then just continued to take off. At that point in time, a hit and run. This is a pursuit. 4 people in the vehicle. Then we understand the driver stopped for a brief moment on a residential street in Rancho Cucamonga, let 2 people out. Then continue the pursuit through Glendora, Azusa, Duarte, and now to Pasadena.
That's right, in the Sierra Madre area. And the reason why we're pulled out of the shot, just to give you a wider shot, is because we don't know if something might happen that we don't want to show you here on television, obviously. So just as a precautionary measure, we're taking a wide shot right now as CHP conducts this right now. It looks like one person is on the ground and a second, the other passenger, is now on the ground as well.
Spread eagle for the, that's the passenger that was in the back seat.
That's right.
And then we have the driver off to the left there, just above him, just to the left of the vehicle. He is spread eagle as well, face down. Those are the 2 suspects in this vehicle of a police pursuit that has just come to an end on a side street in Pasadena. As you see, police officers are going to go take care of the suspects and then, of course, clear the vehicle as well. We initially came down as just a reckless driving from this driver.
And just for speeding, they were wanted.
And weaving, and that's it.
And you know, it makes you wonder what else they're thinking about, what kind of crimes they have committed that would cause them to run from the police like that, from the
there's
CHP.
a lot of crimes that they've committed between now and then. Hey, Stu, real quick question. Did they have paper plates on that vehicle, or was that just a registered vehicle with a California license plate on it? Do we know? I think Stu is probably not.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, guys. yeah, sure. No, those are license plates.
Okay.
I didn't know you guys were. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, those are definitely license plates on that vehicle. The vehicle did not have paper plates on it.
Okay, we just wonder because you know most of the time those are paper plates when it comes to pursuit vehicles, but understand, of course, the officers can run that plate. Of course, they got the suspects in custody as we continue to follow this here on KCAL 9.
We'll be right back with more news. Keep it tuned right here on KCAL 9.
Remember your first bike? No, your first real bike. So can you imagine the feeling you'll get?
All right, Simon Desk, what would you like to do? Sure. Seven Yankee Delta, Yankee 765. 7 Yankee Delta, Yankee 765. Okay, copy that. Back to base. Let's go back to base. Awesome. My Facebook feed is still open. I have not been able to keep up with y'all. I've got people telling me, just kind of sending me information about what's going on. There was a lot of conversation on what was smoking out the bottom of the car right there. Some folks were saying that it was just tire rub. I'm thinking it was something else. I'm thinking it was an oil cooler or something along those lines. And of course, my phone is not up enough to to grab a picture. Oh, there we go. Ha! CC. Yeah, that couldn't have been in a better time. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Pants on fire. Woo! Is that because I was a liar? Oh, thanks, Jimmy. You know, the podcast this week I think is going to be a little bit lacking. Just putting that out there. We've got 2 coming up next week though, so we're going to be back on track here very quickly with all that stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. That was a crazy chase for sure. Just guys, letting you know, if you are local, I have El Sereno is going to be on Saturday. Brennan's going to be there. I'm going to be there, and we're going to be in the parade. So that's going to be on. That is going to be on Saturday, 9 a.m. El Sereno, city of El Sereno. Yeah, I'm mooning y'all. Yeah, Jason saying transmission could have been the cooler, tranny cooler. Definitely, there's no doubt about that. Bryson. Oh, I remember Bryson. Hey, Bryson. Show us some landmarks. Well, there's a landmark right there. That's the, well, it wouldn't be a, well, it is land. Not our land. Not our land. Ooh, a giant skid got in the way. Not a squid. Not a squid, a skid. There we go. All right, I'll get off the moon. We're gonna play the find the lunar lander, yeah, the American flag, but we'll do something else. Anyway, guys, podcast, of course, is like I said, a little lacking this week, but we're gonna make that up next week for sure. Landmarks, stuff to look at as we're making our way home. The Americana out here in Glendale, right there. Sometimes you can watch the fountains. It's like being in Vegas, but not, you know. We've seen these, we've been watching the fountains here a couple of times. I'm going to do something here for just a second. It's actually called correcting the white balance on the camera. So you're going to see a test pattern, and then all of a sudden everything is going to get better. Trust me. There we go. Boy, we were way out. There we go. Making everything look prettier. Working our way over to Burbank right now as we're making our way westbound, heading back to base. What happened to the guy that got hit? You know what, Casey? I'm sure somebody is going to find out some way, somehow. Maybe a stringer was down there. We're going to get information on that for sure. That's so. Anyways, podcast. We can hype that. We've got a lot of other good ones out there. If you haven't joined in yet, go ahead and check them out. It's in the air with Stu Mandel. I'm told to say. It kind of sounds bad. Subscribe. Just go ahead and subscribe. Listen is good. A subscribe is better. That's always kind of the deal. Again, if you guys are local, El Sereno, Saturday morning. Brendan's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Hopefully we might have stickers. We might have stickers. Don't know. We might. Can't guarantee it. I'm hopeful they'll come in the mail. It's, you know, you guys are riding on my luck, so I'll get them Saturday afternoon, like when I get home. So there's kind of a cool shot that happens around the corner over here. How fast were y'all going in the helicopter to keep up with that? Well, we probably were tracking him. The GPS, we've been having some kind of issues in the helicopter. Yeah, tell me about that, Belinda. I feel like my eyes are bleeding just reading that. We, at one point, I can tell you, the GPS did kick in on my iPad, and it was saying that we were going about 100. Do. Change mountaintops. No, we didn't drop it. Just change mountaintops. I know. Yeah, the reveal's gone. No reveal. Dot, if you haven't got your sticker, hopefully Dot's still there. If you haven't got your sticker, just know I ran out. And like I said, a new batch is coming as soon as those get here. Is being a stringer a good, bad thing? Well, let me explain it to you this way. The machine, they frown on the stringer. They need the stringer, but they frown on the stringer. To me, it was awesome. It was great. But it's a young man's gig, that is for sure. It is a beautiful night. There's a little bit of haze out here. We've had crisper, but it is not bad. There's that pesky skid again. So heading off to the west, we got the sunset going on. Beautiful blues and magentas. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Oh, you guys are, I'm just reading the words from when we lost the feed. This is interesting. Basically when we were right by Mount Lee. Because we were into Santiago, so it was cutting it off. If you guys want to follow, everybody in this helicopter is all about the internet and the social medias. Hashtag CBSLA, that is the be-all, end-all. Hashtag CBSLA. That will find you all the social media that you need to social media on. And then, of course, you've got Rotorhead 8, at Rotorhead 8, and it's the number 8, and that's going to be Brennan. So you can go ahead and find him and follow him. He posts a lot of nifty stuff, funny guy, interesting guy, and then, of course, every now and then there's some information. Go figure. And you can follow me, Stu_Mundell. I have to take my stuff a little bit more serious, so there's probably a little bit more information, a little less funny, and a little bit other stuff. But for the most part, you can follow Stu_Mundell. That's going to get you on Facebook. That's going to get you on the Instagram. That's going to get you on the Twitters. And then, of course, we've got the Periscope is coming back. Yeah, Periscope. Heck yeah. Yeah, Periscope. Yeah. Is it? Joshua says that the weather's getting a little bit. You know what? If you watch the show, I'm sure I know there's going to be an awesome weather segment. Oh, thank you, Donna. But I don't know. I heard we got another cool down coming down. Yeah, this weekend is going to get cool again, hopefully. So hopefully it's not going to be 110, because Brennan's going to have to wear a hat. All right, y'all, we are getting very... Stu, you have a great... No, I do not have a ham radio operator license. I do not. Fobio, we're training again today. Fobio, they're actually at the tiller this evening. So we're going to start making our approach here. Give a shout out to Baytown, Texas. All right, Abe. Laura, we kind of do. Right now we're not in sweeps, so we actually sit on the ground a lot and listen to scanners. We've got an awesome news gathering team, a bunch of news ninjas hanging out down there at the station, and they gather the news and they pass it along to us, and we go out, run around, and try to pick it up, but we actually wear shoes. We're not running around in stocking feet. I don't know what they're wearing down there at the desk, though. I have no idea. They don't let me in that building that often. And when I do, I'm usually in trouble. You're welcome, Jason. We love the love. You know we do. Jeff, I haven't seen you around in a while. Oh, man, Laura, that... Thank you guys for hanging out with us and watching and listening. We love the love, and our station loves the love, trust me. I think we had Susie and Jeff down there on the desk. The pursuit, wild and crazy for sure. Back on the ground at Van Nuys. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. 9 Hotel, TOC, like to knock it down.